So we're not at all far away from Georgia starting fall practice, fall camp. It's really at the end of summer, but we call it fall camp. What are the positions? What is the position that I'm going to be watching the closest as far as position battles and where Georgia's going to go this season? There's two specifically I'm going to watch. One I think is one I always watch, and the other one is a position that I think this year is pretty important. So the one I always watch, you have to always, to me, look at this group, and if they can't perform in a reasonable way, if you can't get five guys from this group to make it work, you're not going to be good. You're not going to be where you want to go, and that's the offensive line. And a season ago, you're losing Justin Schaefer. Jamari is gone. But Georgia returns a lot of guys on offensive line who have started. Former starters include Warren Erickson, Xavier Truss, Warren McClendon, Tate Ratledge, Cedric Van Pran, Broderick Jones. I don't have any more fingers. So at least six guys have started that are returning. Now, some of them only started a game or so, which was what Tate Ratledge did. But several of these guys have played meaningful minutes. In fact, Tate is probably the guy who's played the least amount, who has a future ahead of him playing a lot at Georgia, including him and Amarius Mims, those two guys. But when you look at the board over here, this is a spot that right now there are 19 guys on scholarship, according to my math. And that's a lot. We still haven't seen Dylan Fairchild. We've not seen Morris from Camden County come in and play. And you've got, what, six guys who just signed for the Dogs, of which four of them were there in the spring, if I'm not mistaken. It was four. So the O line with Stacy Searles there now, that's a spot that's really important. Why? As mobile as Stetson Bennett is, as effectively mobile as he is in the pocket, nevertheless, how effective he is outside of it, you have to protect quarterbacks. Bryce Young can tell you all about it because getting thrown around like a rag doll, that's not going to work. Um, and in the Alabama game, the first Alabama game, really Stetson was pressured more than you'd like. They weren't running the ball the way that you'd like to if you're Georgia. Really, six of the eight quarters that Georgia played Alabama, six might not be right. Five of the eight, the offense didn't play well. But the first quarter against Alabama in the first game and the last two quarters of the championship game, yes, the national championship game, Georgia they played pretty well on offense. I mean, you're starting to talk about 10 points in the first quarter of the SEC championship game, and then 14, 21 points or more in the third and fourth quarter of the game in Indianapolis. So that's 31 points. I only went to school in DeKalb County, so the math might not quite be right there, but that ain't bad. 31 legitimate offensive points. You're driving the field in the fourth quarter after that Stetson Bennett mistake. In the third quarter, you have a long run from James Cook that sets it up. Then you had the mistake, and then you had the what seemed like a game-changing mistake. And then Stetson throws them down the field to take the lead. And then Georgia forces a punt, I think. Alabama didn't do much right after that. Alabama didn't do much at all after after Georgia went on top again. But anyway, after the Alabama punt, here they come again. This time running the ball, and finally Stetson throwing it to Brock Bowers for a touchdown. So that is 31 points in three quarters. That's pretty good. I mean, against an Alabama program, everybody knows they know how to play defense. Generally speaking, they weren't great at defense this past year, and they should be better in 2022. But we'll just see. All right, take advantage of this today. You've got DAWGSTRUCTION, which you can still get. You can just buy it. When you buy it, our 2022 preview is included for free. People have been taking advantage of this offer because I keep telling y'all this is going to run out sooner than later. Pick it up now. The links are down below. If you just want the magazine, you can do that down below. If the other people that are getting this magazine for free, okay, there are people that buy DAWGSTRUCTION, and then there are annual members over at DawgPost. If you're an annual member at DawgPost, you will be getting this mailed to you. You will be getting the 2022 preview mailed to you. Um, I think I'm going to mail it starting August 15th. So if you're an annual member in good standing, as of that day, you're going to be getting your preview in the mail for free. You don't have to do anything. I hope your address is correct on your billing, but I've already made that clear to y'all. But anyway, I think the other spot that is more that I'm watching and is I'm more curious about are the linebackers, just generally speaking at Georgia. Now, you're missing Quay Walker, Channing Tindall, Nakobe Dean. I mean, they had some players at linebacker this past year. You come back with Robert Beal and Nolan Smith as your edge guys. You're okay on the edge. The question is, what really happens in the middle? You add. I almost call Chaz Chambliss Saxby Chambliss like every single time, and I know that's not his name. I know there's no relation. So you've also got Chaz Chambliss on the outside, who is a really good player, but on the inside, Tresman Marshall, Dumas Johnson, you got Smile Munden and Sorey. I mean, you've got some real options across the board at linebacker. And when you start thinking about how good this defense was a season ago, and it was good, there are images all through DAWGSTRUCTION of defensive players making plays. Um, it was a really good group. But just on this page right here, Kendrick, he's gone. Lewis Seen, he's gone. Uh, Keely Ringo is back. Nolan Smith is back. Jalen Carter is back. I think that's Quay Walker, and then he's gone, and so is Jordan Davis. Here's another image of the defense. This time trying to block a kick. Jordan, Jalen Carter. Here's Lewis Seen on this side. It's a defense that's going to have to rely more on guys like Nolan and Trayvon. I think it's Tramel Wathour, who no one talks about at all. And he's not a linebacker, but you get my point here, which is that this team is going to have to develop its way to Atlanta. I think that is very possible. The question becomes once they get to Atlanta, you have three opportunities, or really two at a minimum. You've got the SEC championship game. In theory, a college football playoff game, and then after that, in theory, a national championship game. If you are Georgia, are your young guys going to be ready to go? And, for all at linebacker, and for all of the discussion um, that we've had over the last, 9 months, 8 months of Georgia, winning the national championship, now the 22 season's here. And here's what Kirby said. He told reporters this. He said, I'm more worried about inexperience. If a kid makes a mistake, he always he always talks about the media, which is, whatever. But he says if a kid makes a mistake, you're going to say, "Oh, Georgia got complacent." I don't know what he's talking about there, but he says, I'm going to say that kid's never seen that play. He's never had that pressure on him. So we're trying to make that happen as much as possible. I'm not worried about guys resting on their laurels. The best way to get to where guys have seen things is by putting them in a position to where they're going to see real competition. That's why they scheduled the Oregon game. I mean, that Oregon game is such a huge opportunity for Georgia on a lot of different levels. I mean, you get the opportunity to play a top 15. I don't know when the rankings are going to come out. A top 15 team. You have an opportunity to play on national television on broadcast. Okay, so you're not on cable, you're on broadcast. That means more viewers. And you're going to get to play in front of your fans in Atlanta. It is a great marketing opportunity. It is one of the games that people will be talking about as the second biggest game in opening weekend. So if Dumas Johnson doesn't have the experience you want, well, he'll have one more game of experience over against a top 15 team uh, when he gets done playing in Atlanta, win or lose. And I think the Clemson game a season ago, Georgia was ready to grind that game out. They weren't going to put it on JT Daniels' shoulders because his ribs were so jacked up that they had to be careful. But this defense now has an opportunity to really grow in that first game. That first game, if they were playing, Arkansas State or somebody, it'd be one thing. I mean, you'd expect total domination, but what would you really learn? I don't know. With this game, you have a game you should still win in Atlanta. You have broadcast nationwide. It is going to be a huge game, and it's just a big opportunity. But those are the two spots I'm looking for as we get into fall camp.